And this is a fun stream to be at. I like coming to this stream. We don't find a lot of gold, but we always do find some gold. So we're not going to find any big specks or pickers, I doubt, but I'm going to go ahead and start panning, and you guys can ask me anything you want while you do it. So I'll just get set up and let the people find the stream, because I didn't announce I was going to do this, so it's going to be a surprise. Anyone who has the notification bell pinged, you'll get a notification when I go live. If you don't have that pinged, you're going to be like, hey, I didn't know you were going live. Well, the notification bell. Hi, there's people streaming on. First thing I got to have you guys do is tell me if you can hear me. Does it sound good? I'm using a wireless mic, and I haven't seen, or I haven't done that live before. You got a notification. That's because you got the notification bell on. Good job. So, sounds great. Beautiful. That's what I want to hear. So, let me kind of show you the stream. I don't know if you guys did, but I did. I saw the Flower Gold Wizard's video this morning. And this is a spot kind of similar to what he was panning at. The stream here, it's kind of a little bit narrow. And then this is a point where it kind of widens off. And there's a bit of a gradient here where there's bigger cobbles kind of more towards the center of the stream, and then it gradually gets smaller and smaller until we're in like some fine silts and clay. And when I dig around in this area, there's a few specks of gold to get. So we're gonna classify a bucket and pan it down, and while I do that, I'm gonna answer you guys' questions. So I gotta adjust my thing. Live, you never know what's gonna happen live, because live is unpredictable. Okay, I'm just gonna start scooping, and then I'll come back for some questions. But this isn't really a big cobble area. You can see there's a mix of smaller cobbles and sands, and we find small gold here, but we're just having a little fun. And this is my little hand trommel. This is Mr. Wizard's design, and it goes through this stuff really quick. I'm just going to throw my tailings right there, and I'll shovel them back into my hole. You know I will. All right, let's take some questions. I got some. Do you only pan on your days off, or do you take PTO and go for multiple days? So the way I work, I kind of do contracts. And when I don't have a geologic contract, I have a lot of time to go panning. When I do have a contract, I'm pretty busy, but I like to get my videos kind of filmed and ready to edit. So I'll have my videos filmed at least weeks ahead of time. So there's always a lag between my videos, and I do that just so I don't run out of content. But I haven't had a contract in a while. It's been a little slow, so I've been doing a lot of panning. I live close to the Wisconsin border in Illinois. Do you think it's possible? Anything? Well, I do think that's definitely a possibility there's gold there, because that was a path for the glaciers. The glaciers picked up, gold-bearing deposits, and anywhere they deposited the glacial till, there's a potential that is gold-bearing deposits. Sometimes the glaciers didn't ride over a rich gold-bearing deposit, and sometimes there's not a stream to really classify the material or channel it very well. But there's always that potential. Anywhere there's glacial till, it's worth testing. Ever make it up towards Ely area in Minnesota? Next week, I'm going to Tower, Minnesota. There was a group that they messaged me, and they sent me a picture of a quartz vein that they had in the Tower area. And that's one of the places that the DNR was searching. They were doing a lot of testing, and they believe there's a lode gold deposit somewhere nearby. They haven't found it, but That's near Lake Vermilion, where there was a Vermilion gold rush. And they didn't find a lot of profitable gold, but there was still gold up there. So this quartz vein in Tower, I'm gonna go up there and see if we can find some gold-bearing deposits up there. And I'm looking forward to going up there. And that's close to Ely. But there's definitely some gold-bearing gold veins in Ely. I live in Grand Forks, which is in the Red River Valley. I know you've been close-ish to here. What would you say my likelihood of finding some gold if I went hunting? So in the Red River Valley, not great, because that is the glacial lake plain of Glacial Lake Agassiz. And that is just all clay-bearing deposits. So that was deep water, and you had the clay settling in that calm, deep water in very, very thick beds. Gold is heavy, and it takes energy for it to carry, or it takes energy to carry that gold into places. So the fact that that stretch of land was so deep and still, it's not a very good likelihood that gold was brought that far into the Red River Valley. On the lake shore there, the shoreline of Glacial Lake Agassiz, your likelihood is a lot more, or just outside of the lake basin. Let's see, I'm not gonna get to everybody's question. You're going to do a collab with the Flower Gold Wizard. That's the plan. I haven't done it yet, but we will. We are definitely gonna do that at some point. Do you ever do any fishing on your panning trips? I don't. I should bring a fishing pole with, but if it's good fishing, I don't necessarily like to dig there, and you're not allowed to dig in trout streams. So I kind of stick to gold. I do like fishing though. Have you found any gold in St. Croix River Valley? Have I found any gold in the St. Croix River Valley? I don't know what I would consider the river valley. Apparently, it's not legal to pan in the St. Croix River. It's classified under National Park rule, and I didn't know that in one of my videos I filmed, but yeah, apparently the St. Croix River is a no-go. Another reason to fill your holes. Shouldn't say that out loud. What's your total gold collected? So I've been keeping a separate vial for my 2025 gold, and I haven't weighed it yet. But end of the year, I will weigh my 2025 season, and I will combine it with my 2024 season. I like how the camera makes the gold pieces look bigger. That's the idea, right? If I just held my pan out like this, said, you see the gold? And it's like, no, I don't see the gold. But if you get really close and zoom in, and it looks impressive. You can turn anything into a nugget with enough magnification. Need to come to Prescott, Arizona. I would love to go to Arizona. That would be a lot of fun to find some bigger gold, and dry panning. I've never tried dry panning, and that would be really cool. I lived in Nevada for a while, and I know people would go dry panning there, but I never did, because I wasn't prospecting at the time when I lived there. All right, so let's get some more scoops classified. Hopefully we can dig up some pickers, some nuggets. Probably only going to dig up a few specks, because that's what we find in this spot. But I'm pretty darn sure we will find some specks. Maybe even some cool rocks. There's always some cool rocks. Oh, I have some news I got to tell you too. I'll tell you after this loud racket. Whoops. Because this is like the heavy equipment. There we go. Whoa, what is this? It's just sandstone concretion. Cool, but not cool enough to show you. So news, I just did an interview with Bandit Prospecting. He asked me a bunch of questions about who I am, what I do, and all that kind of stuff. His YouTube channel has that. He just posted it today. It turned out pretty well. So go over to Bandit Prospecting, and you can see an interview that he did with me. And after this live, I'll post a link. Can't post a live now, but that's one news. You're out in the heat and humidity, brave man. You see the sweat? I'm already sweating. But I've been to Thailand a number of times training Muay Thai, and I've grown to really like the heat and humidity. That's my favorite country to go to. Could you give a demonstration on dry panning? Jeff Williams has done that. He basically takes it and he pans it just like he normally does, and then he uses his hand to strip off the material. And I don't know if it would even work with this flour gold. It's so fine, but it does work with bigger pieces of gold. Never heard of dry panning before. It's a thing. They have like high banker sluice box type things that puff the air through, and they can run it just like a high banker, but it's all air powered, and it collects the heavy material. And what I've heard is people will take those into gravel pits, and they can dry pan in the gravel pits or dry sluice in the gravel pits. I've never seen it done, but I think that would be a fun thing to do. The material has to be really, really dry for that to work. So what I've heard is people will spread the material over a tarp on hot days, and it gets all dry, and then they can run it through the dry washing station that they have. But I've never seen how it works. I've just heard about it. Are you going to be at the Flower Gold Wizard outing? I don't know yet. I'm kind of a fly by the seat of my pants guy. I might show up, I might not, I'm not really sure. I just have to see how things pan out. Let's see. All right, whereabout are you today? Today I'm in Minnesota, so I'm going to be just doing a little bit of speed panning today. This is a spot, I don't disclose the spots I go to, because if I did, I'd have 10,000 people digging in the same hole. So even if it's a known spot, I'm still not going to say it on YouTube, just to kind of protect the area. There's a principle that people do in caving, like people that explore caves. They'll go to caves and they'll post pictures, but it's kind of a faux pas to disclose the name of the cave or the location of the cave, because cave environments are very fragile, and if you get a lot of traffic going in there through social media direction, it'll harm the cave environment, the ecosystem of the cave. So it's kind of a culture to not name the cave that cavers go into. And I've kind of adopted that principle with gold panning, because my videos, they get like 10,000 views or more. I don't want to really funnel people into one location or not. There's a lot of places to go panning. So many streams in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, Iowa, they have gold. You just gotta do the work and find your own spot. I'm not gonna say it. So that's why I don't give my locations. I want to protect the area. But I am in Minnesota today. Yeah, new panning video today and the live stream. I heard there's a big, what is that? Big bush werewolves up there. Is that true? Well, there's wolves. I haven't seen a werewolf yet. They might be up here. I've heard some noises. How often do I live stream? Kind of whenever I feel like it. I probably should get on a schedule, because it's kind of fun to see what y'all have to. Why does your nose run and your feet smell? Because I'm a human, and it's bacteria. Bacteria emits smelly gases. A river in Minnesota, that narrows it down. That's the point. It's glacial chill area. When I post my 2025 year-end total, could I do another video talking about your year-end YouTube earnings as well? It seems very rare YouTubers to explain it. So the way YouTube earnings work is I get about $3 or $4 per 1,000 views. Typical standard fare. Shorts get paid like dirt. You get a few cents for 1,000 views. But my long form content, it's about $3 or $4 per 1,000 views. So you can easily do the math. And there's a website called Social Blade And you can look up any YouTube channel and it'll tell you, like, it catalogs how many views they've got for the year and whatnot. And the range of earnings that they post there, it can vary different because not everybody gets paid the same rate, but it's somewhere in the middle of what they show on Social Blade. So, oh, more news. I have a website coming. So people have been asking when I'm gonna get t-shirts and whatnot. I am working on it. I just got the logo finalized. I have samples coming in the mail to make sure I have everything set up. I'm setting up a Squarespace website so people can go to that and buy the merch if they want. It just takes time to get that in finalized, right? But it's working, so I'll have some merch for you guys coming up soon. It's just like fishing, never tell people where your spots are. Yep, same thing. I'll tell you I'm in Minnesota today, but I'm not going to tell you where I am. All right. Do I have a Patreon? I do not have a Patreon, and the reason why is because I don't know what I could present as value. I don't want to have a Patreon where people just kind of send me money for no reason. I want to be able to present a value, and right now it's really hard to make another video because I run 2 YouTube channels already, bronze casting channel and this channel, and it's hard enough to keep that going. But once you get a Patreon, you have to be on a schedule. You have to make extra content and videos, and that's going to be hard to do. And I don't know what I could do that would be worth a Patreon. Like the Flower Gold Wizard, he has a great giveaway thing. I don't really want to do that. So if you want to support the channel, the best way to do that would be to go to the website once it's running and buy merch. And another thing I want to do, sometimes I find really cool rocks, and I say every rock has a story. So I'll describe the story of the rock. Sometimes rocks show really cool geologic features. So I want to also put rocks like that on the website so people can purchase some too. Because when I did the assay testing, I found that vein of mineralized deposit. I had a number of people asking if they could get a sample of it. So if I had a website where I could sell something, a way to support the channel, and you could get a cool rock too. So I would do that probably more than a Patreon. Ever find gold near Rainy River, Baudette, Minnesota area? I do want to go up there this year. I haven't yet, but I've been mapping my spots with Google Earth. I'm gonna go up there, and I want to go across the Canadian border into Ontario and go to the source, find some source gold. Let's see. If you have art for merch, find me on Instagram, send it to me, I'll look it over. There's no guarantee I'll use it, but I would love to see it. There's a gold mine near Rainy River, just don't know about what creek. It's actually an island, it's called Little American Island. Oh, Rainy River. I was thinking of Rainy Lake. Rainy Lake, I know there's a gold mine. They've turned that into a national park area. I would like to go there, but I don't really know that there's much to see. It's all collapsed and whatnot. But Little American Island in Rainy Lake, there was a Minnesota gold mine. Let's see. Chequamegon Nicollet Forest. Have you had any luck there? Water's way too high. The water has been really high this year. I haven't tried Chequamegon Nicollet Forest. I will say the last video I posted where I was panning in Wisconsin and I found the pieces of copper and a lot of lead, that was the lead video, that was in Bayfield County. So not too far away. Just found a few minor specks of gold. I'd like to go back to that stream and look for more copper. Agate days coming up. What's agate days? I haven't heard about that. Let's see. What's the next piece of prospecting gear I want to test out? That's a good question. I did buy a VDR mat, drop riffle VDR mat that like Jason always uses, a 6-inch mat, so it's small, And I was in the process of building a custom sluice box for that, and the aluminum broke, it cracked, and I have a TIG welder, but I don't know how to TIG weld aluminum. It's very difficult for me, and then my welder went on the fritz. The HF went out on it, the high frequency, so it doesn't start right. So I want to test out the VDR mat, but I haven't yet. Would you like to come prospect a mine near the St. Croix River and Apple River? All kinds of glacial deposits and massive agates. That would be fun. It's hard for me to kind of schedule things like that to go with people. Rarely I do, but sometimes I have to know more about the mine. What kind of mine is it? All right, I'm gonna shovel up more pieces, more shovelfuls, because I'm never gonna get this pan done if I don't. And I'll look at the sediment while I do. People ask if I find any Indian artifacts, and I can't confirm that I do, but I found some rocks that maybe they're Indian artifacts. This stuff, this material is so sandy, it goes through that trommel really fast, really well. So I'm gonna fill it up pretty good. If it's clay, I probably won't fill it up so much. Oh, look at that. Broken glass. You know what that means. Just means the gravel turned over, which means maybe there's gold down there. Doesn't mean there's gold down there. It just means the gravel turned over. But if the gravel's turning over, that probably means the light material is getting washed away, and the heavy material is likely to be, or more likely to be, left behind. Ooh, a piece of quartz. I always look at the quartz to find gold, but I don't find any. I've never seen a piece for sure. Wonder what Freddie and Juan would say about my tailings. They'd probably test it and be like, "You're losing gold in your tailings. We need to update your plant." That'd be fun to have them come update all my gear. Have to expand my operation. Cool. A piece of gneiss. So the gneiss, that's a metamorphic rock. It looks a lot like granite, but it has fabric. You can see there's like lines in there. We call that foliation or fabric in the rock. And those are, a lot of times, there's some micaceous minerals in there that help it align. Another piece of quartz, very crystalline. Same thing as a glass. SiO2. All right, let's see what I miss. I can't see the comments unless I touch the screen, which is kind of irritating. Top the Tater Days coming up in Farmington too. What? There's a Top the Tater Days? Like a festival? Why haven't I known about that? Welding that can be tricky since it's softer than steel. Yeah, and it's thin. So it's so thin it just kind of burns through. So take a very experienced welder to do that, which I am not. I normally use my welder to braze my bronze sculptures together. You've had success with JB Weld. That would be an option. That might be better than welding it. Or at least tack weld it and then fill the rest with JB Weld. Say the Golden Rainy Lake area is bedrock encased. Recreational panning is not so good. No, so that's hard rock gold. Yeah, so you'd be digging in the gold mines, and I'm in the process of building a homemade ball mill out of a propane tank. I took a propane tank and I cut the top off so I can get material in there. I got a bunch of big steel ball bearings, and I'm working on fabricating a way to tumble it so I can take pieces of quartz like that, just throw it in the ball mill and crush it up and then pan it out. I am not an engineer. I don't know anything about motors, so it's tricky. I did buy a dryer motor because I figured, oh, if the dryer motor can turn a big drum full of clothes, it could probably turn a propane tank full of rocks. Didn't work. I don't know how to adapt the dryer motor to do that. So then I found a free treadmill. You can find free treadmills pretty easily. And I got a treadmill motor because that's a DC motor and it's a lot easier to vary the speed. So you can get your speed controller and dial it up or down. So that's gonna power the ball mill. It's just not easy for me to put that together. Mic sounds great. Is that a DJI? It is a DJI. Got it at Micro Center. Oh, you sent me the Agate Days info on Insta. Thank you. Maybe belt driven. That's the idea. I don't know. I don't know anything about belt driving. It's tricky. So you'll see the video and you'll be like, oh, you should have done this and that. And that's kind of how I learned too. People give me a lot of suggestions about what I did wrong, and I'll be able to revise it. But hopefully I'll get that done. Well, it won't be anytime soon, but I will get that ball mill video done. Just hope it works. How do I learn more about rocks and schist and stuff? So any state you are in will have a book called Roadside Geology for Minnesota, Wisconsin, or whatever state you're in. And that can be a good way to get an idea of what happened geologically in your area. It's kind of a story of the area you're in with those roadside geology books, and it'll tell you where you find what material in your state. So those are a good resource. But any geologic textbook, an old intro to geology textbook, that'll help you with the terminology, that'll help you with the geologic principles, and that would be a good place to start. I know there's a lot of people, they're interested in rocks, but they really don't understand geologic principles and how to put things together. So I do think people should study at least some basic geology. Yeah, these mics, these DJI mics, they're pretty good. They're expensive. This was like $250. But if I want quality content, I figure I should upgrade my material. Do you edit your own videos? Yes, I do. It takes me a long time to edit my videos. I'm not a good editor, I wouldn't say, but I've tried very hard to get better at it. Been editing videos for about 5 years. My first YouTube channel was bronze casting, and that's where I started editing videos, and I just used my cell phone. From then I upgraded to a Mac, and I use Final Cut Pro as an editing software, and it's a struggle. Anytime I get an idea of like trying to edit something, it's always a struggle, but I do the best I can, and I'm still trying to learn. How long does it take you to edit and upload a video? Well, many, many hours. So kind of the rule is kind of 1 hour per minute of the video. Some videos I exceed that limit, and other videos I can do it a lot faster, but it takes me many, many hours per video, because when I make a video, when I go out, I'm not just going out to pan, I'm making a video for YouTube. That's the foundational aspect. I don't go out prospecting, I go out filming. So I run 2 cameras. I run my one camera and then my cell phone camera for the close-up shots, and then I have to splice those videos together. People's retention gets diverted very easily, so you have to use different jump cuts and stuff to try to do that retention editing. Not everybody will do that, but it's a good principle to kind of reset somebody's brain so they don't click off, they don't get bored. So I'm doing a lot of in and out. Not a ton, not like Mr. Beast or anything, but I do a lot of that, and that takes time. If I have a clip idea, I have to look for the clip. That can take time, and then sometimes I have to adjust the sound, and it just takes a long time. Let's see. I like, you like how I try to pretend not to find massive amounts of gold so people don't try to steal my spots. That's the goal. I just show the little bit off the top. I keep the rest for myself, like Jeff Williams. So Chippewa County, Michigan, wondering if you've seen anything over there. I don't know where Chippewa County is. I haven't panned in Michigan a whole lot, but I do know there is gold there. The glaciers went through there, and I go up in the UP, different places. You can find good gold in the UP. Let's see. All the cut-ins editing take the most time, but you do it so well, it makes it entertaining. I've had people comment and say that my videos are unbearable to watch because of all the edits I put in there, and I just say, well, my videos aren't for you. Thanks for stopping by. I think it's one thing that I do that's different, and you gotta have something that sets you apart. So the clips, maybe people don't like them, some people don't like them, but I get a lot of comments like that where people do like them. So I'll keep adding them. It's to my chagrin though, because it takes so much more time to edit with adding all the clips. Am I part of a gold club? Twin Cities Gold Group, I'm just on the Facebook group. I'm not like a member of GPAA or anything. I don't know why. I just haven't done that because there's in the Midwest, there's really no claims to go be a part of. If you're a member of GPAA and you're traveling to places where there's claims, you can find GPAA claims, and there's other organizations like that. But in Minnesota and Wisconsin and Michigan, there's not places like that. So the GPAA membership, I haven't found it to be worth it in this area. If I travel, I probably will. Let's see. Love my sense of humor. I appreciate that. Dude told me my last video was a waste of time, can't be all winners. You know, there'll be a lot of people that say things like that, and then if you click on their page, they've created nothing. So it's very easy for people to criticize things when they have not done it themselves. Let's see. You enjoy the clips, I'm glad. Do you think there's any gold at the bottom of the potholes in Pothole Park, Taylor Falls? I don't know. You need a suction dredge to get that, but if that's a state park, you're not allowed to pan there. So that gold will stay there forever. What's up, Jeff Williams Wilson? You're not the Jeff Williams, you're Jeff Williams Wilson. That made it sound like you're not as special. You are. You're just as special. With 2 channels, you also have a regular job. I do. So I work as a geologist. I do contract work for geology. It's been a while since I've had a contract, though. Things have been slowed down, so I've had a lot of time to pan, but I'm really hoping I get another contract. Scoop it up, pan it at home, big brain. Yeah. Yep. People that don't like my work, I just say, well, thanks for stopping by. My content's not for you. There's a lot of YouTube channels that don't do what I do, so you can go watch one of them. That's okay. All right, let me take some more scoops so I can get some gold. But I do appreciate y'all stopping by and giving a chat. And like I said, people, if you have the notification bell turned on, you'll get notifications when I go live. If you don't, you might just miss it. So some people are like, oh, I missed the live, you should have told me. Well, this was kind of a spontaneous live, but if you want to make sure you don't miss them, hit that notification bell. Whoops. Might have overfilled that one a little bit. Maybe one more scoop. I really do like this classifier, but it doesn't get the buckets as full. At least it's not as easy to fill the buckets. That top classifier I used to use really helps you get the buckets full, but it's not as fast, that's for sure. One thing I've been going to do, I started filming it, is I'm doing a Mississippi River mining video, and I want to determine how many grams per yard are in the Mississippi River. So I need to pan out an entire yard of material. That's a lot of dirt to pan out. And the water has been so high, I haven't been able to film that. I've got like 6 buckets panned, and I need 40 buckets total. But that's part of the fun. I don't want to use any special tools. I just want to pan it all. It's going to take time. But that's a video that I'm going to put a lot of time into. And hopefully I can get a viral video out of that. Which, you never know what's going to go viral. Sometimes things you think are going to go viral will. Sometimes things that you don't think will go viral will. Sometimes it won't. All right, so I got enough material here. Well, I'll show you. Right there. There's my material. Almost a full bucket. So I'm going to pan that out. I'm going to find a quiet spot to pan because I don't like currents when I pan. So, right, I got to move the camera. I'll get back to your questions here. All right. Let's see. I'm probably going to miss some stuff. Greetings from Tampa. No gold here in Florida. I really enjoy your channel and the occasional geology lessons. Best of luck. Thank you for watching in Florida. I've been to Florida. It's cool. A lot of sand there and gators. Look at, I'm sweating. It's hot. It's humid. Let's see. I've heard the hardest part about YouTube is the people hating on the content. I like your attitude about that. Way to go. Yeah. You find the better your video does, the more people it reaches and the more haters you're going to find. That's just part of it. If you get haters, you know you've made it. That's the way I figure it. Any comment, good or bad, helps. Sometimes. Depends on what the comment is. Some comments can ruin people's lives. You left the video I posted today to come here. Well, yeah, better get back to it. 40 buckets to a yard. I know it's a lot of buckets. You know, you think of 45-gallon buckets. If you had 40 of them set up, you think that's a lot more than a yard. But when you figure out the volume, I guess it all condenses to 3 by 3 by 3. That's what a square yard is. You're really Jeff, but probably not the Jeff I'm thinking of. What do I quantify as viral? It's subjective. So when I have my videos, it tells me the views that I see, right? So typically when I post a video, I'll get the initial spike of viewership and then it levels off and it will typically flatline. So I get my initial views probably in the first week or two, and then it's really slow ticking after that because the YouTube algorithm likes to push fresh material. All my subscribers have already seen the content, so it just doesn't crawl after a certain point. A viral video will look just like the COVID graph. When it starts to take off, you get more views, and then it just goes up. So the viral video, in my mind, is either a video that has that trajectory or it just keeps going up at a steady rate. And it will tally up hundreds of thousands of views. The most viral video I have on this channel is when I did the 100 pans on the Mississippi River. I think that's up to 1.4 million views. That one would be viral. So that's why I want to do another Mississippi video like that, except 40 buckets instead of 100 pans. I think it has potential to go viral if I can do the video right. And that's always the question. Can you do it right? Will it catch on? Will it trigger the algorithm? I don't know. For the Mississippi River mining, would you try some areas around Red Wing? Absolutely. If you can find a spot on the Mississippi River where there's gravel, it's got a great chance of having gold in Minnesota. From what I understand, the farther south you go, the more muddy the Mississippi River gets. But up here north, it's a lot easier to find gravel deposits. So if you can find gravel on the Mississippi, that's going to be the glacial till. There very well could be gold in that. Maybe not, but the only way to know is to get out there and test it. And pans are cheap. You can get a cheap pan for like $7 on High Plains Prospectors. Like I find material cheaper than Amazon on High Plains Prospectors. So I always post a link in my videos to that site because you get good deals and you don't have to send your money directly to Jeff Bezos. So that's been my go-to place for now. You got one of the fastest growing channels in the genre. Congrats. I thank you. I appreciate that. What are you digging? I'm digging sediment in a stream, some gravels. Oops, I passed that one. I can be a temporary hater if it makes you feel better. Okay, temporary hater, that works. Cubic yard, yep. So I want to find out how many grams per yard are in the Mississippi. The water level's got to go down though. You live on a river, would I like to come pan sometime? If there's gold there, absolutely. It's hard for me to meet up with people. I do it rarely because scheduling is difficult for me. But if you have a spot, I'm totally open to that. It just might be a while, right? It might not happen anytime soon. Let's see. Oh, the last video found a small gold-colored piece of material. Did I figure out what that was? Yeah, when I was editing the video, it dawned on me what that was. It's a pyrite nodule. So pyrite is kind of ubiquitous. It'll grow in a lot of geologic formations. And the nodule, it kind of has a nucleation point, and then it grows in a round ball kind of from there. So those are not uncommon. I didn't catch what it was when I was there because my brain doesn't work sometimes, but that was a pyrite nodule. That's what that was. I can't find it. I don't know where it went. I sometimes lose things. Should do a meet subscriber show. Interesting idea. Hey, from the far east side of Michigan. I think there's gold there. Right up north on the eastern side of Ontario are really good gold fields. They do a lot of mining up there on the eastern end of Ontario, so you might have gold in Michigan from the glaciers. Someday I should go to Iowa and prospect. It's where the Iowa Gold Rush happened back in the day. Be interesting to see what you find. So Eldora, I think that is near South Dakota, right? Am I right about that? I've been wanting to go and I've been wanting to go to Iowa and do some more high banking, and I had an invitation to go do that last May, but I was in Washington, D.C. at the weekend they were doing that. So it didn't happen, but we can probably set that up again. I do want to explore Iowa a lot more because there's gold in Iowa. Hey, if you're ever in Montana, you're more than welcome to come dig with us. 406 Miner, I would love to. My wife and I were talking about going to Glacier National Park this year. We're driving through Iowa, and that'd be a lot of fun to find a place to mine pan. I've heard of public planting places in that area of Glacier National Park. It might be interesting to film a video there, but I don't know that there's any gold in Glacier National Park. Let's see. Your focus is off. My focus, like my work focus or the camera focus? It looks clear to me. My focus. Yeah. Let's see. Is St. Croix any good for panning? St. Croix River is actually illegal to pan in. I didn't know that when I did a video, but you're not supposed to pan in it because it falls under the rule of the national parks somehow. So St. Croix River is a no-go. Let's see. Oh, it's in the middle of Iowa, in the Iowa River. Interesting. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get to panning, and we'll see if there's any gold in this bucket. So let me adjust the camera just a little bit so you can see the pan working. How many viewers do I have? 68 viewers. Good deal. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up my pan like so. All right. So I got my pan set up, and I didn't bring a small scooper today because I've learned that my shovel works as a pretty dang good scooper. So if I'm using just speed panning, it's a really quick way to fill the pan. That's going to fall over, isn't it? That will definitely fall over. I don't want to lose the material. So this is how I've been scooping. If I'm speed panning, I just go like so, and I can fill the bucket or fill the pan really quickly. And I'm just gonna go right here and go panning. People get mad at me when I do circles on the pan, but the first little bit, I think it's okay to do circles. And they always say, go side to side, it helps the gold fall better, and that's probably true. Although you saw my video today with the Batea pan, you use big circles on that, but different process. Oh, look at that. No, that's a piece I already found. I put it in my pan. Broken glass, that's what that was. So typically it's about 4 or 5 pans when I pan this down, when I pan down a bucket. So I'm gonna run through these pans and we'll see if there's any gold. There won't be any nuggets, but there should be some specks of gold, which is always fun. And I'm using my Garrett Super Sluice today. Just been getting some more hours on that. You got to spend time with the pan to get used to it. And I do like the pan, but it is a lot harder to clean up the gold and for that final look. So I don't know if it's the best pan for filming, because when I'm filming I got to show you guys the gold. All right, I'm gonna fill this pan. I'll come back to some questions. Actually, this Garrett Super Sluice is probably only going to be 3 pans of material because it holds a lot. All right. What's this? Something green. It's a computer chip of some kind. Can you see that? Little computer chip. Weird. Okay. I don't know why that's there. I need the nugget bucket. Yeah. Those are spendy. They're like 150 bucks. I don't like spending that much money. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going through the comments. 30 or more claims. Any veterans out there in Montana who want to learn how to mine? You have access to 30 claims in Montana. Well, how do I contact you? The easiest way to contact me is through my Instagram page. I don't know if you have an Instagram, but that would be a lot of fun if we did end up driving through Montana. Cool. and actually see a Montana mine. That'd be something. Let's see. Hi, Glacial Gold Hunter. Hi, everyone. Hello. We missed sluicing on Lake Superior. I'm hoping that they reallow that. There was a guy I was talking to in Michigan, and he said that the reason that they stopped that is because there were some people that were making really a big mess of the beach, just digging up huge portions of it, and it was getting bad apparently. So that's why I always harp on people to fill their holes, take care of it, because in public places, it doesn't have to be a state ordinance. It doesn't have to be a state law. It just has to be a park and rec service. So there's some parks that people go to, panning and prospecting, known parks, I won't name them, but you know where they are. And I've heard people are really starting to make a mess of those places. If you guys do that, they will take the rights away. They will. It's just a park. They can shut it down. They could shut it down like that. So you can't be making a mess of things. You gotta fill your holes. You gotta hide your tailings piles. It's not just about you finding gold. It's about maintaining the area and the environment. That's one of the reasons why I don't name my places, just to protect the places. Let's see. You found some jade the other day. Ooh, that's cool. Jade is very cool. Been looking for someone to tell me a few rocks I found. Have I ever helped with that? So here's the thing about finding or looking at rocks through pictures. In order for me to identify a rock, I have to kind of see how the light shines off it. I have to see the luster of the rock, the feel of the rock. Sometimes there's a tactile feel. And typically when people send me pictures and I zoom in, it's all blurry. I can't see the mineral assemblage. I can't see the grain structure. And that's what I need to see in order to identify a rock. Now, sometimes I can identify it from the picture, but a lot of times it's something I kind of have to hold in my hand if you want me to tell you what it is. Like the difference between aphanitic igneous rock or sedimentary rock, I'm not going to be able to see that in a picture. But if I have it in my hand, well, even then it can be difficult. But I'm going to have a lot better chance if I can see it in my hand, break off a fresh section. You got to see how it weathers versus what it looks like fresh. Sometimes you got to see it wet versus dry. So identifying rocks is more tricky than people realize, I think. Let's see. Rocks are not photogenic. No, they are not. Have you ever considered adding magnet fishing to your content? It seems like it would go hand in hand. I think that's too different of a genre. People on YouTube, they like what they like. So magnet fishing, it's kind of in that same world, but it's pretty different at the same time. I probably wouldn't add it because you kind of you have to stick to the genre. You have to stick with what people like. That's kind of the way it goes. Unless you're a brand of yourself and people just like watching it for you, that's a different. Yeah, fill in your holes unless you own the claim. Exactly. If it's your land, you can do whatever you want. But if it's public land, it's not all about you. You got to share it with everybody, so you got to take care of it. It's a lot quicker to fill a hole than it is to dig a hole. And you want to protect the rights because you don't want to be the reason that everybody loses their right to mine, right to prospect. Okay, let me pan out. Oh, my foot got stuck in the mud. Let me pan out another pan. Okay. Hopefully, I'll have something to show. You never know what you're going to find. I don't spike my samples. The clips I showed in my video today, the Patea pan, I'm pretty sure 99% of those are all fake, all staged. Because they'll be scooping up pure silty clay on the surface. There's nothing in that. And then they'll show just piles of pickers and huge amounts of gold. Like, that's not how it works. But they get a lot of views. So all you need is a little vial of gold. You can spike your samples every time. You'll probably get views. But what's the fun in that? I want to see what I really find, even if it's not impressive. Tell you what though, if you zoom in far enough, you can make things look impressive. That's how I do it. I really find what I find, but I just zoom in really far. And I had one guy, he was complaining about how dishonest my thumbnail was because he said he was very disappointed because the amount of gold that made it look like in the pan was like 20 ounces worth of gold. And I said, if you thought I found 20 ounces of gold in one pan, that's on you. Nobody finds 20 ounces of gold in the pan. It was gold I really found. I just blew it up into a big picture. And if you don't do stuff like that in the thumbnail, nobody's going to click on your video. So the first rule of YouTube, you could have the best video in the world, but if nobody clicks on it and your thumbnail sucks, nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to watch it. So you got to have a good thumbnail. I'm not the best at making thumbnails, but I do try to make a decent thumbnail. And then the first 30 seconds of your video, you have to get their attention. If somebody clicks on a video, you got to keep them there, because the first 30 seconds you'll have the most drop off on a video. So generally I'll put the quickest cuts, like more edits in the first 30 seconds than I will the rest of the video. And that's just to try to get them invested in the video. If they're invested in the video, they might stick around longer. So those are kind of the YouTube tricks. Again, a lot easier said than done. But people's attention spans are pretty weak. Like lives like this, it'll never get views, never get a lot of views. But I get to talk to you guys, so it's worth it for me to do it. And some of you will sit here and watch. You guys are watching now. And I try to keep talking because it'd be boring if I was just sitting here in the quiet. You can turn on a playlist of river flows if you want to hear the river. But you probably tune in to hear something I'm going to say. Hopefully something valuable. But you ever listen to radio, talk radio, and those guys, they'll talk for like 5 hours a day, you know, and they just keep talking all day long. How do they do that? I can see the black sand here, so that's good. Like Flower Gold Wizard was saying in his video today, gold rides an iron train. And there's a couple reasons why they say that. One is because you find a lot of black sand, and that's iron oxide. But two, when gold is depositing, if there's sulfur in the mix and it hits iron, that sulfur likes to become pyrite, chalcopyrite or iron pyrite. And then the sulfur is what's driving the gold into solution, those hot hydrothermal fluids. So if you find a quartz vein that's got a lot of iron, or there's iron on the edge, that's a way that it's driving or pulling that sulfur out of the melt, leaving the gold behind to deposit freely. So there's multiple reasons why they say gold rides an iron train. There's chemical reasons and physical reasons. All right, let's draw this back. I'm a big fan of tapping. There's a lot of little pea gravel that I got in there, so I'm going to throw those out. I do not have jet dry in here. Although, when I was panning with Gary that one day, he just used like 2 drops of jet dry in a little eyedropper. So it doesn't take much. I should bring some. And there's a lot of black sand, so this is going to take a little while. And again, this Garrett Super Sluice is not the easiest for me to clean it up. Ooh, I do see some gold. Not big, but it's gold. Sorry, I gotta concentrate, so it's hard to talk and do things at the same time. Tapping helps the gold come to the front edge. And then I can draw it back a little bit easier. Oh yeah, here's a little something to show. People are gonna say, oh, you spiked your samples. You didn't find that. I've had people say that. I don't find enough to spike my samples. Okay, let me show you what we got. Now when I do this, a little camera trick, I have just a skim of water over it. I think it looks better when it's underwater. So, I think it looks better underwater, so I have just a skim of water, and then I put it right up there in the pan. Oh, come on. I wonder if it'll focus on this live. This is the stuff that I would edit out. Okay, hang on. Come on, it won't focus. It's not focusing. God dang it. Well, I guess I gotta do it this way. This is terrible cameraing. I would never put this in a video, but in a live, I guess this is what you get. There's a few specks of gold there. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 specks of gold. Hard to see, but on a live, this is what you get. So that's what we got. That's one bucket of material, almost a full bucket. So, fun day. It's always fun to come out and get some gold. All right, let me go back to, look at this. I'm sweating. It's so gross. And I didn't put deodorant on. I stink. Smell like an old shoe. Gotta concentrate your concentrates. Yes, yes. Cool, you coming to Montana. Well, my wife and I talked about it. She wants to go see Glacier National Park. So I would, if there's places to go mining near there, absolutely, I would love to do that. If you could Instagram message me, that'd be cool. Or, I don't know, find a way to contact. So some YouTube creators get so ridiculous with their clickbait titles and thumbnails that I have to unsubscribe from the channel. It can go overboard, absolutely. I try to keep it fairly, fairly engaging. I gotta show some gold, so I think that's okay, because that's the concept of the channel, is to find gold. But you gotta Photoshop it a little bit. If I had just a picture like this as a thumbnail, nobody would click on it. And you gotta have somebody click on it to get people to watch your videos. So that's kind of the name of the game. Oh, my live stream's pixelated. Gosh, I didn't know that. Is everybody else seeing a pixelated live stream? Let me know, because the cell reception should be pretty good in this area. That's why I come to this creek. It's got good reception, or so I thought. Never use jet dry on a creek. Use Dawn dish soap. Okay, jet dry is not good for fish. Well, what's the difference between jet dry and Dawn dish soap? I don't know, but that's a good tip. Don't use jet dry on the creek. Dish soap, I think, works just as well, but it's more sudsy, and that's why people use jet dry, because there's less suds. But yeah, soap, you're just cutting the surface tension. That's all you're doing. Let's see. I look like Humphrey Bogart, Treasure of the Sierra Madre. I don't know who that is. Sorry. Mike matches the hair. You know, the guy that got me into YouTube was Alex Steele. I would watch his YouTube videos, and he did some casting projects where he melted brass, and he showed how he did it. And when I saw that, I thought, I think I could do that. So I started my bronze casting channel. But he would always make mistakes in his videos. Sometimes he doesn't know what he's doing. He's figuring it out as he goes. And I'm like, I could figure it out as I go. So I started a YouTube channel because of Alex Steele. And he would always have hair just everywhere, kind of like the mic. That's what reminded me of that. So, looks like my lens has a layer of humidity on it. Probably. Hang on. Let me do this. It's just a cell phone lens. Is that better? I don't know. Let's see. How can your washers support you? Well, I'm getting a website going. I'm putting it together now. I've got merchandise coming. I've got the logo, t-shirts and whatnot. Their samples are being shipped as we speak. So I don't have a Patreon or anything, but one way that you can support me is once that's going, I'll make a video about that. But once it's going, you can buy some merch, and that will be a way to support the channel. Profit margins are low, but something's something, right? Let's see. You're getting, looks good at, okay, so some pixelation. Oh, you weren't, your clickbait comment wasn't directed at me. Okay, that's good. You know, I don't want you to hurt my feelings. Yeah, it's a cell phone live stream, so I guess it's not great. I'm sorry, I thought it was perfect because it looks clear like me. All right, well, I've been live streaming for 67 minutes, that's over an hour. 92 viewers, much appreciated. I really appreciate you guys coming in. I'll give you a few more minutes to ask questions if you got anything. But other than that, I'm probably going to sign off fairly soon. Is a plan to eventually cast the gold you find? Well, that was the plan. I was going to try to find enough gold to cast a ring or something. But honestly, when I look at it in the vial, it's more valuable now in flower gold form. So I'm not going to melt it down. I like it in its form. Have I done any prospecting around central Wisconsin? Not central Wisconsin. I wouldn't call it central Wisconsin. There are good places in Wisconsin, really good places, but I haven't been to central Wisconsin yet. I'm going to Siren, Wisconsin tomorrow, but I wasn't intending on panning there. Maybe I should. Maybe I should do some test pans. Do I find any Lake Superior agates? Every now and then I do. I do find some Lake Superior agates. Stay hydrated, it's really hot out. I got a big gas station bottle of lemonade, or the big cups of lemonade, but it's in my truck. It's full of ice. I'm hoping it's not too hot by the time I get back. Because I'll come out panning all day and I don't drink anything, and then the next day I have a terrible migraine, and that's not good. Where can I stop an I-75 to pan for gold? I don't know, but what I would do if you're gonna do that, try to find spots of public land, look up on the maps and stuff, find out where there might be public land on a river, and then I typically go to Google Earth or Google satellite imagery, and whoa, somebody gave me $3. What? From Thailand? Oh, Kap Kun Kap, thank you. Thank you very much. I see Thai script. Wow, very cool. What was I saying? Oh yeah, if you're gonna go to a area, look it up before you go there and just find places to stop by with your shovel and your pan and test it. I don't know where there's gold everywhere, but if I get the chance to dig into a new spot and just test, that can lead to some good promising area. Oh, Fridley, Minnesota here. I know Fridley. I do. I do physical therapy in Blaine. That's really close to Fridley. How can I tell who sent that? Well, I don't know how I can tell, but there's a bunch of Thai script. It says $3 and a bunch of Thai writing. I don't know how to read Thai, but I recognize it when I see it. So, Kapkun Nakap. Wow, now people are sending money. This is weird. Okay, $6 I've made. Holy cow, much appreciated. Thank you guys, I didn't think that would happen. You're in Anoka County. Oh my gosh, now people are sending money. You don't need to send me money, guys. I get paid with the views, but much appreciated, thank you. Your girlfriend and you love the videos, keep it up. Excited for the merch. I'm excited for the merch too. It's been a long time. I've been working with a designer for the logo and been a lot of back and forth, and we've got something figured out that's pretty cool, I think. It's I don't know if it's the logo I'll keep forever. I might it might morph and change, but I think it looks really good. So I hope you guys like it too. Drink out of the creek, better water than your tap. I don't know if this water's better for the tap. Might give it away where I am, but I wouldn't drink this water. It's very clear though, very clear water. Do you have any? Nope. Good morning from Canada. Which part of Canada? The Blind Prospector. I want to go to Canada. Canada is really cool. Oh my gosh. Jeff in Tampa, thank you. $5. Good grief. This is a new thing. I do remember clicking on a thing where they could you guys could like send money and whatnot, but I did not expect it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Before I go, thanks. Thank you for watching. My website name is theglacialgoldhunter.com. If you go there, it's not open yet, but I did buy the domain, just glacialgoldhunter.com. No, the Alberta, home of the flower gold. Yes, Alberta. So I remember the way to memorize the province is a weatherman told me this, or I watched a weatherman say that, and he said, be a smart meteorologist or quit. So British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Quebec, no, Ontario, Quebec, and that's how you remember. So that, I never forgot that. George Kessler, he was a Channel 6 broadcaster up in Duluth, Minnesota. That's where I learned that. Ontario, not sure if there's gold here. There's a lot of gold in Ontario. Just depends on where you are. Your first super thanks. Well, super thank you. Super thank you. All right. All right. Well, much appreciated, guys. This was fun. I will do lives again, and if you want to catch those lives, make sure you hit that notification bell. That'll notify you when I go live. I don't schedule it per se, but awesome. Thank you guys for coming along. Thanks for all the questions, and thank you for the support. Much appreciated. Thank you guys again. Bye-bye.